boys from the Lord of the Flies have landed on a mysterious island. Alone, surviving by themselves, without adults. Having to stick together and to maintain their decorum. In time to get rescued. But with this realization, things have turned south. To tumult, to disarray, to turmoil. To show what malevolence lies inside. I wrote this poem called Wicked in Survival. Something could be so uniting that represents a sane society, holding everyone and everything until it was in pieces. However, it's what called everyone together. How the Conch and Ralph did it all, exposing their civility, Ralph his diplomacy and responsibility, taking charge, yet having a fat boy at his feet, but still having a mind almost like the well-behaved adults, and the vigor to get saved. It's still excluded. Although Piggy's glasses, it's what is important. To keep the fire lit, or admit there will be no rescue or cooking fire for their desire. But oh my, there's new groups scurrying forward, from little boys to big. Let's meet Simon, the silent one, fainting on the spot. Now the next lot. Jack Meridew, the egotistical, pampered baby, who's not exactly a pretty daisy. Although they're all on this island together for an adventure far from home, having to explore this unknown sight from the height of the mountain, facing the place where the plain toward the earth, where the land prospers, where the terrain meets the Pacific Ocean, on each side of them. How reassuring! Trouble strikes already. With their desperate bloodthirst for plump pig rump, the silver death machine hesitating. For now, until the beast takes hold, and all hell goes loose. But how lucky something was today, and how unlucky the little ones could be. With a fear stalking them day and night. Another fantasy slipping around their heads, says a kid with a mulberry birthmark. Let's go racing, chasing for the mountain, building a pointless fire. And Jack steals Piggy's glasses. What foreshadowing? Until all fire goes loose. So come up with an excuse of where the kid with the mulberry birthmark went. Because he's not there. This is the first real sign. But there's still work to be done. For hunting left to the Corey Easter, the next step is here, where Jack's face is all marked up with red, white, and black coloring his face. In disgrace, looking like a stranger to hide his own self-hate. Making it totally okay to begin in such actions, Sam and Eric joining in, leaving the fire unattended. At least they got a treat. Some meat. As they say, kill the pig, cut her throat, bash her in. Next, building shelters with barely any helpers. Simon and Ralph working alone. Where's everyone gone? Playing, eating until their bellies are plump with fruity deliciousness. Children are what they are and will be. Children. Where does Piggy sit in all this? Well, he's nowhere to be seen. Maybe because everyone has been so mean. Why? Well, being fat is one thing. And his asthma. Oh, asthma. It's just a health condition. Well, nonetheless, we have the Watchers. Waiting. Hoping they'll all get saved. Watching for the horizon for a tiny figure in the distance. That will be their savior. Next, building shelters with barely any helpers. Simon and Ralph working alone. Where's everyone gone? Playing, eating until their bellies are plump with fruity deliciousness. Children are what they are and will be. Children. Where does Piggy sit in all this? Well, he's nowhere to be seen. Maybe because everyone's been so mean. Why? Well, being fat is one thing. And his asthma. Asthma. It's just a health condition. Oh, look here, there's a meeting already. Is the order. Everyone must listen. Because Ralph has his doubts about no work getting done. Since no water was put in coconuts, since barely any huts were made, because everyone went to play. Since the cute poop is littering everywhere you could imagine. Since the fire went out. Just to catch some pig in costume. Since they were wasting their time rolling rocks and making little cooking fires. Since they're all contradicting their beliefs of getting saved. Although the fears have risen. There's a beast, they say. There's a beast. But they're really frightened by the sound and motion at night of Simon sneaking off to a secret place, just to get a space. Then civilization taking a new step? Watch. It's someone talking without the conch. It's another sign. Jack disobeying the rules. Displaying how he knows they're not important anymore. Things are already getting out of hand, getting so hard to command. How they wish there was a sign, yet no one is awake to see when it arrives. Falling from the sky, a lifeless man. Plummeting to the summit. It's morning, and there's another sign. Another sign. Ralph, who contains the sane, joins in the killing of the boar. Desiring to enjoy more, oh, yet another joy, they gather in a circle, shouting, "Kill the pig, cut her throat, spill its blood," with Rabbit in the center. Even better, it shows they're practicing these fender bender ways. Ow here, ow there, most joining in, having their fair share. Now, all thoughts are on the beast, since Sam and Eric saw something, unleashing them to the mountain. Roger, Ralph, and Jack continuing forward, until they encounter the beast, bowing over and over, from invisible strings connecting to the parachute, getting feasted upon by bugs already, but they do not see. So all three agree, he's real. An assembly has been called. He had teeth, they said. He had big eyes, they said. Now, instead, Jack declares Ralph a coward. Ralph doesn't care about getting meat. That all Ralph does is boss them around over the profound idea of getting saved. So they have a vote. Who doesn't want Ralph, Chief? In disbelief, crickets. Well, I'm off on my own, says Jack. Bit by bit, the day goes by. Ralph's group gets smaller and smaller. But Ralph knows they need to stick together. Whether or not they agree, nothing will be done. And Piggy is glad that he has no reason to run for their active bullying tactics. Meanwhile, Jack is having fun. He'll protect everyone from the beast, but most importantly, Pig. Forcefully holding her down, sticking the spear up her ass, get her good, and stick her head on a stick. Where's Simon in all this? Seemingly hiding, climbing the mountain, and finding a sexy sow head on a stick. Makes me want to eat pork kebab. But with this realization, this is how everyone is inside. It's the Lord of the Flies. Simon clambers higher until he meets the being that bows. From flies roaming around his face, with a crooked smile that you can't erase. Simon untangles the parachute strings, setting him free, and the winds breeze. Simon races down the cliff, eager to tell his findings. Although witnessing the sow's demise, with the hunter's brutal delight, eventually revealing himself on the dark and violent night. Everyone dancing a vicious dance, with no music but their ritual chants. But something is wrong. Everyone is closing in. Everyone's scared. Everyone is poking me with their spears. Everyone is tearing at my skin. Everyone is scratching me as I try to turn away, all chanting, banding together, hunting me down, shouting, kill the pig, cut his throat, spill his blood, do him in. The night's over. Everyone trying to find closure. Sam and Eric, Ralph, and Piggy, saying it didn't happen. It was all a mistake. They can't erase. They couldn't see. They weren't there. It's Simon's fault. By default. But it's still wrong. They just need to take responsibility in their own misery. Jack, the dictator, going for another pig, but knows they need a fire to cook the gore of the boar, willing to result from thievery. Piggy fearing they'll lose the conch. However, the decorous the conch has is of no interest to Jack and his friends, snatching what is rightfully theirs, eating well for that night. Another raid comes again like another nightmare, when they've killed another pig and need fire for it. This time, willing to make someone blind for their own selfishness. But Ralph, still getting a few good punches in, Piggy believes he can change their clouded minds with some reason. To convince them to give him his glasses back, Ralph, Sam, and Eric leading the blind bat in aid. Piggy holding the conch in his hands like it's helping him in the crusade. The savages do nothing, no matter how much the wolves huff and puff. They know not to let them in. Jack returns, facing Ralph. An epic fight until someone gets hurt. And Sam and Eric captured. And a boulder rolling over Piggy like he's a piece of paper. Purposefully murdered. What a day. And by the way, Ralph's injured. Hindered, running away, afraid of their campaign. Hiding from the spears sharpened at two ends. Finally, resting. However, going to the mountain. Encountering the Lord of the Flies. Kicking over the bone head and taking the dreadful spear. Going before making his way back to Castle Rock. To find the shock of seeing two figures marching on top. Ralph climbs to Sam and Eric. To the rim, they speak about the torture by the sadistic kid named Roger. How they were his victims. How he's insane for sharpening a stick at both ends that sends another head on a sick stick. Where Jack plans to lure Ralph out, says the twins. They say for Ralph to hide in the front bushes, pleading for him to leave quick. Before the 6 tricks begin. They give him a nice, tasty, meaty treat, and Ralph is on his way. But there are screams that come from Castle Rock in the middle of the night, Ralph thinking about joining them, thinking about the spear at two ends. What could it possibly mean? He doesn't understand their damned ways, since he's not savage. But when one morning comes, Ralph is found, yet lucky. Stabbing at someone outside the bush in surprise, until Jack decides to roll the boulders, shaking the earth. But no real damage is done. Yet still too close for comfort. Another comes and Ralph slips away, running for his life, dwelling on what to do. hiding, hiding, until the smoke comes into view, the fire already ablaze. A person is right outside his hiding place until Ralph pushes through. On the chase once again, his time to live seeming to be shorter, and bam! He lifts his head to find a man, a naval officer. The boys surround him, all slim, with matted hair, paint over their bodies, and barely any clothes on, which shows they were having a war with their spears. The irony of how the fire meant to kill Ralph saved him. Grim. Before long, they're all deeply weeping, for their innocence lost from their savagery. That will forever be in their memory.